souls.
Lost souls. Hi, my name is Steph. If you'd like to come on in, have a seat for some symbolic support. The other day, we dropped some ink in the MUSE of the third eye, and as promised, we are going to flip it, scrying for shapes and symbols that may pique our interest, our psyche and psychic senses. We'll also add on Tarot and Oracle, and where Mr. Ghost Gift is here kicking, we have Ghost Tube for any audio additions from the afterlife that may further add to our auric
42.
adventures. Overall, pleased to receive or release freely. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome home. I'm glad you're here. Let's go. Let's get ready. I'm just going to take a moment to close my eyes. You're welcome to join me. Freshen the perspective. Taking a nice deep breath. Cleansing the palette of perception. Releasing the race and the rush. Activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. In the name and honor of anyone here at any time, may you meet a message with meaning. Oh, I always do it. Sorry, it must be the way my wrist is. If you see, sense, or feel anything, please feel well to comment below, as your insights do deepen the reflections and nurture our interconnected nature. Or you can drop an emoji, give it a like. Any interactions with the channel is appreciated. All right. And if you do take a screenshot, to scry in your own time, personal use only. All right. I'm swinging. As women, feels like feminine energy. I don't know if I'm weaving or carrying something. I might be carrying something. I feel like I have a purse or a bag or a satchel. Male or female, but this feels like feminine energy. Okay. Hey there, little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. Da, da, da. So it's almost like a Red Riding Hood kind of feel. I'm carrying something. It also, a strawberry might be very symbolic to you, and it's stepping forward. The wolf, if I may, in this situation, now whether this is a wolf in sheep's clothing or a sheep and a wolf in a sheep's clothing, whatever the case is heading off. Heading off.
Whiskey.
There is somebody behind me. I don't know if this message is for one or some. There is somebody behind me. They feel because they got something above their head. I don't know how to express that. If that implies they're from an angelic realm or an ascended master, or they have what is the other scry I did recently? I can't remember. I need my contemplation crystal ball. I can't remember if it was a general or if it was for the throat. And no, maybe it was the Old Souls message, and there was like this ring halo-y thing of like receiving station. They have one of those, but I don't see the spectrum of colors of informations of receiving. It's almost like if you were seeing the wings, like translucent wings that are all multicolored at the same time, but they look clear, but they're not clear, but they look all colorful, but they're not colorful, something along that line. So whatever that may mean to you, and I'm sorry for that ramble, but there it is. There's also a very large, see, this is what takes me more into like the angelic realm, but this might also be
light.
Okay, we'll just say, light. Like the horn thing. The horn. Yeah, it looks like almost like a bugle. Is there like certain kind of angels or something, or depictions anyway, historically? And then, like music would come out.
Aquarius.
Aquarius. It's in the air. It is in the air. It's almost like it's in the air and water. Where did I just wander from there? That was a weird blank spot. There is a manatee.
Stroke.
Nose. What is that kind of? Like rub
Not
noses?
all of us.
Rub noses. Like it's bringing me into like rub elbows with people. I feel like maybe if your elbow has been bothering you, you might have been rubbing elbows with an energy that just, I don't know, it feels restrictive. Like it's almost like something like giving my right arm to something. And maybe that energy is very consciously in relation to the third eye space. I'm intuitively giving my right arm to some sort of energy, and it feels like is something about my elbow and that Tin Man. Like I want to like kind of lubricate that. What can I do? Maybe even sound healing with that, and so you might even want to do like, I don't know, salt, or I don't know, something about your elbow quite specifically is coming through on that. There's a heart on a ledge. The sound thing is very, you know what's funny? I think it's from the other side, Scry, of this. And there was a harp, and I feel like this bugle, is it a bugle or horn? Doesn't matter. It sounds, and I hear the horn, but then the horn turns into harp harmonies. But it's from a horn. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like a harp. No, it feels like a harp. It looks and sounds like a horn, but it feels like harp energies. Do you know what's funny is that this is kind of making me feel like, and I don't know if this message is for one or some, but thank you for holding space to receive their message. It's almost as if, you know, like when you're in a car and somebody honks a horn at you and a honk, and it can be very startling, but I don't know what that word is. It gets an immediate response. Like you start looking around, like, is there something going on? You look at your speed, like what's going on? And thank you, like Aries energy, it's like calling attention to something like, bah, you know what I mean? Aries, like the ram or all that kind of good stuff. And you're just like, there it is. But you start looking around, like, what is it? Is there something coming? Am I not seeing something? Some sort of alert. And for some, it might be like in this third eye space of working within the self. I'm not saying it's coming from externally, but then it's also like, oh, thank you. Thank you for being aggressive. Be aggressive. Thank you for sending that out, so I saw that, or I could see that, or maybe I was, lulled off. Maybe some of you, being very sensitive, need to be very cognitive in your earthly experience when you're driving specifically. And then when I wander into like the third eye space, it's like when or what you're doing to drive your third eye space, and whatever that may mean to you, whether you're reading books or you're watching videos or you're doing garden, whatever the case is, but there's something about the same kind of feel. Dreaming, soaring, saunter. I'm sorry if I'm all over the place here. I kind of yeah, I feel like it's so airy here, and which is lovely. But I kind of want to, okay, because you might be rubbing elbows with angels. Oh my goodness. Rubbing elbows with angels. Or what that might mean to you. Don't get stuck on the language, of course. Okay, sorry. I always have cat hair all over me. I'm shaking hands at the top of the clouds. I feel like I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. I can't say one way or the other. Maybe there's somebody in heaven that when you connect with them in your third eye, in your intuitions, that they are around. Okay, so I'm also getting the sensation in regards to some facet, the faculties, very specifically the faculties of the frequency at this elevation. I'm having this handshake because I was just told something, so I would understand something. Do I accept? These conditions are not to be controlling. These conditions or things that were said aren't meant to be constipating, as I would say. in our earthly expression. This is more definitely ethereal. I've accepted. It's like, are you going to, I don't want to say it this way, but hopefully you can find your own inspiration in it.
I'm going.
Okay, thank you so much for being here. But are you're also, maybe you're just choosing to go to this, like, from this handshake, because it's like, to accept this, there's something that you know or have been told you may be required to do this, meditate, or I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. It's a very big blank space when I wander into it, and I am like doing my best to throw physical things at it so I can apply them in the mundane to say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I know I need to do. What are my mundane material world steps that I'm going to do and take to implement this blueprinty thing that I'm accepting, or this information that I'm accepting? I'm being asked not to complicate it. Like, it's almost like a mindfulness of being present and following. Okay, who was it? It was Witch and Scythe. We were just talking about the other day. Following your intuitive inspirations with an action, and like, as I'm doing right now, try not to constipate it. Like, does it make sense?
Believe.
Read a book that maybe the title or the context is out of your regular realm, but does that make sense? Oh, frig. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. All right, let's wander into the cave of ice. Hilarious. Protection and compassion are both coming out. Protection was big in the other side, Scry. I'll put the link below to the OG. So this is almost like that, we've been talking about, like, I don't know,
Fight.
In some ways, shape or form, like ascending up or ascended masters or angels beyond Earth, but Earth's right here, right? It's like also protecting some sort of information that you receive. Not holding it hostage, not sharing it, but protecting it within you.
Peaceful.
It's super peaceful. Because the OG side, quickly flipping it, it was like I met this eye that is a heart, and it's kind of indicative of this. And with this ladder and this canal here. What's going on in here? First of all, suspenders might mean something to somebody. Suspenders. See, helix, the eye of God. I am also being changed. Okay, maybe you're changing forms. I don't know how to say, because I feel like these swans, that symbol might mean something to you. The black swan and the white swan. Oh, and even from the other, they don't always bridge this way together for me. So I apologize, but sorry, not sorry. I saw like a skull, a body, but with like translucentness. I am being nurtured by, the best way I can say when I'm up in this space is, I want to say parents, but they're not parents the way I would, consider here. Interesting. I'm just going to leave that there. We have here generosity. There's a red fox. This is in the cave of winds in the mind. Okay. Remember like the Little Red Riding Hood thing? And maybe a red fox? Power, spirit, animals, working with them. There are... Yeah, see, now I'm like... This is well outside of my wheelhouse. Very specifically heard archangels.
Are you from here?
But they are fierce, and they are helping you generously. In the Cave of Hearth Fires is Hydra with the catalyst. And there's like that serpent, there's something about knowledge
24.
and protecting the very portals of these axes from the OG scry with the doors. A serpent won't bite those who are permitted or have done some sort of work, or I don't want to make a judgment because it's so personalized. It's not a one size fits all, but in another weird way, one size fits all, but it's frig again. I love it though. I love it. Okay. I see a ghost in here. Like it looks like chomp, 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 chomp. I feel like this is me standing there.
Disease.
And I am... Imagine if you were Miss Pac-Man or Mr. Pac-Man and the ghosts are chasing you. In the Cave of Rivers is
lost.
Virgo Justice with the compass there in the head. Okay, this feminine energy again, the Red Riding Hoods, they're turning into weavers. They work with, I'm going to call it like dark swan energy for lack of a better word. They are weaving. And they are, it's like those pyramids of mystery and mystic again are coming through.
Watching you.
Yeah, they're absolutely watching, because right there, it's like as I'm meeting these big ghosts. Now, whether these ghosts represent the hauntings of humanity, of my own heart, of different placements, I feel like you might have been there for quite some time, or at very, like, I'm a decade person, you know, like when people say, oh, how old are you? I don't know, like in the 20s, in the 30s, in the 40s. It's almost like in that same theme, there's been decades of focuses along with like the micro and the macro focuses. So amongst maybe a decade of having, you know, very specific things happen to you or working in a certain energy, but then there's also micro things happening in there in other areas. And it's almost like making these ghosts of sorts, whatever they might represent to you, bigger and bigger and bigger, so that they're blatant, and you can meet them and realize you can turn around, you know, like when the Pac-Mans can get the cherries or something and it makes them go and they can eat them. Or is that just, I don't even know if that's real, but anyway, I'm going to take that and then I can turn around and eat them. And I'm not so, but it's like having that all the time. And it feels like a courage. It feels like a courage. And then when I come in here in the Cave of Rivers of how I'm feeling with this compass, with this direction. But imagine like having this compass and it just spinning, because I'm not sure.
I can't talk.
I'm almost over-inspired, because here's the thing. But I'm not over-inspired. Give me a moment. It's just in the landscape. Like my earthly compass doesn't necessarily work here, because in a moment, and I don't know what this moment means to someone or to me, it could be a decade, it could be a day, it could be as soon as, I don't know, it's like this, I don't want to call it the last ghost, but it's something along that lines, or like the biggest Bowser until the next Mario Land comes out, and this mystery of sorts isn't solved, but it just like disintegrates. I don't know how else to say that. I get sucked all the way up. And it's like in this very specific channel, this earthly concept of a compass, and while there are consciousness compasses, this earthly concept of a compass doesn't work here for pure direction of feng shui's coming through, like north being my career, or south being reputation, and your east and your west and your creativity and your family. While those are frequencies at play, it's like having a feng shui compass that's working in these frequencies versus or with or having two that one works with those kind of frequencies and elements, and one is magnetized to earthly energy, the earthly expressions of them. Anyway, oi, oi, oi. Sorry, not sorry. Cave of Earth. Like, I feel like I need to deep breathe here, because I'm getting some sort of sensation that whoever you are rubbing elbows with in this realm, they're also always, like, if I was traveling on this, now I would say it's a groundhog, but I think prairie dog it's also called, and I'm on the back of like this prairie dog. There's always this large, maybe it's this guidance, I'm not, there's always this larger presence I can depend on that is ready to help me out. Ready to help me out. It has something to do with these weavers. The bright star, 44. On the bottom, we have sisterhood, Taurus. When I come into this guidance, I want to, like, almost like a compass that's spinning, and I want to go back here to this eye of God. Is that what it was called? Protection. And these portals. It's like asking an earthly compass to work in a portal. And maybe they would in some, but not all. Because it's like almost like these portals go to different planets. What is happening in this third eye space? This is like incredible. There's also something. It's a bird-like creature that has an egg. It has an egg. You have an egg in your third eye. These suspenders, it's like blue jeans wearing, is it like blue collar work in the third eye realm?
Axe.
This is a masculine energy. The feminine energies are down here. He absolutely could be a lumberjack that would build this boat of Canopus guidance to sail. Come sail away, come sail. With this weaving. And it's almost like the weaving with these feminine energies would be the quote unquote fishing nets, and or creating the sails that can grab the winds and draw me in and up and out of. Some of you really might be.
Ghost?
I believe so, yes. Still existing, just in different form of density. Like lucid dreaming, like you have a nap and you get drawn somewhere. And if I may, because I'm just getting ready to close out, you know me, I love me some Beetlejuice. And like at one point in time, the original one, haven't seen the new one yet, don't spoil it. And they get drawn back to like their woman on the other side. I can't remember her name, but she's got the slitty throat and the smoke's coming out. And she's this little thing. She reminds me of my name. It's fantastic. Anyway, the point being is they just kind of like they're being called to that other realm. That's what this feels like. We'll get you a talisman before I go. Sorry if I've yammered on. Sorry, not sorry. But I'm very passionate here in this placement. Very, very passionate. This is like forging on this voyage that you are passionate about perceiving these different places, portals, but with such kindness of who you're rubbing elbows with. Because maybe you know, or maybe you not know, but destiny is here. But even like with this armor, the metal of the mind and the key of this, certain preparations. In that passion card, I'm assuming it's like a moose or a deer or something like that. I want to say antelope. Equilibrium. For me, this is bringing in.
Let me show you.
My physical passions. Don't need to compete with my, my psyche and my psychic as we're here. They don't need to compete for passions. They are complementary, but I don't need to make them fit. Maybe I don't need to, from here anyway. It's like the left and the right brain with the heart, the geometry of the heart, the power of the heart. Something also about a pendulum and like landing in my destiny. No, living my destiny. On the bottom is navigation. You're living it by navigating it. Just like the navigation is the living it. There's no perfect concept through that spinning compass of what a completed destiny looks like. And maybe that's what I'm releasing and experiencing, which expands and contracts. But then it brings me into that heart and the ant. It all feels well. I'm going to leave it here before I constipate it anymore. Hopefully you have found a piece to your puzzle. I hope this did inspire, educate, or entertain. I will see you again soon. So much love. Bye.
Can you hear him?
Can you hear me now? Confidence. Rebirth. Growth of energy. Can you hear me now?